I can safely say that wilderness saved my life. I was on a train going absolutely nowhere with my life. I had spent the past 5, 6 years of my life totally stagnant, literally high all the time. Whenever I wasn't working or when I wasn't in school, I was high, and that's what I lived to do. Here I was falling so far behind, and I was just so depressed. So I went to an educational consultant thinking that she was going to help me get a job, help me sort of launch my career. And then she's like, whoa, we need to take like 3 steps back. You're not ready for anything like that. I recommend you going to Wilderness, and soon, like next week. So I decided to go off to Wilderness, a week later. And it was hands down the best decision that I've ever made. So I really had no wilderness experience whatsoever. And getting there my first day, there's, cactus here, cactus there. I'm out in the middle of the desert, like, oh my god, what am I doing here? And I was so uncomfortable that night, but I do remember very distinctly just being, like, awestruck by the night sky. I'd never seen so many stars like that in my life, and it was really incredible. The first 3 days were definitely rough. I, was definitely pretty physically strenuous, and I hadn't, done that kind of physical activity in a long time. It was definitely a bit of a struggle. But then after, 4 or 5 days, I really started getting into it. And after that first week, I just felt so rejuvenated. I literally feel like I had been shocked back to life. I was loving every second of it. Being outside, cooking for ourselves over an open fire, and just being disconnected from everything, and really having that opportunity to reflect on myself and really look inwards and be truly introspective and be really honest with myself and be surrounded by a group of people that really could understand me. I have never met one person who's had to go to rehab or had any of the kind of struggles that I was dealing with, and so I just felt so alone. So getting there and getting around this great group of guys who could really understand and relate to what I was going through, and these are some of the greatest people that I've ever met, and it was really a great experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I had an amazing time out in Wilderness, and I discovered some new hobbies that I never would have discovered had I not gone to Wilderness. I can point to a bunch of different things. I love going rock climbing, I love carving spoons, I love woodworking, I love reading. Here are all of these things that I had either never had in the first place or lost because I prioritized getting high. I thank Wilderness for everything that I have now, really. I definitely wouldn't be the same person that I am without it. And I can actually talk about it with pride. If anyone, when I inevitably go back home and people ask where I was, what I've been doing, I'll say that I went to wilderness therapy with pride because it's something that totally turned me around and it's something that I desperately needed.
My name is Reed Courtney, 16 years old, and I'm an Imbalance Ranch and Transitional Living alumni. Grew up in the city of San Francisco. I had what I thought was like a pretty normal childhood. Turned out to not be so normal after what I've been through and all that. My father was like pretty abusive, and he was really hard on my older siblings, and I was always like too young to remember all that stuff. So pretty much from the get-go, I always felt like being young was like a disadvantage. My parents got divorced when I was 12, which was not like a surprise at all. There was just like a lot of arguments and just like bullshit in my house all the time. I started doing drugs when I was 12. I started out like smoking weed, drinking alcohol. I started using super regularly, like pretty fast. I mean, like I was pretty sad, like I just had a lot of built up resentment, and then like I just felt so lost and like just did not know what to do. So I made the choice to take a public bus to the Golden Gate Bridge, and I attempted to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge on February 19, 2016. Fortunately, I was like taken off that bridge by a policeman. It was a pretty close call, but luckily I was saved. He took me to a psychiatric facility in San Francisco. I was there for 7 days, and then from that I got transported to a youth wilderness program in just north of Atlanta, Georgia. I was there for 3 months, and then me and my parents made a decision for me to go to Imbalance Ranch. Wilderness, and in the beginning part of the ranch, that was kind of a struggle because I felt like less than because I was young. But then I realized that like I was the lucky one because I got to get through all this shit before, like when I was young, before it like really counted. It was like probably the best place I could have gone though. So yeah, I mean, I was at the ranch for 10.5 months. I really liked the horses. That was like sort of my thing. I had ridden horses a few times before the ranch. That's where I sort of fell in love with it. So yeah, I graduated the ranch in April of 2017. Came to TL in Tucson, which was my idea. I was at TL for 5.5 months, and that was really helpful. Just learning, how to live like a normal teenager again, and because really I didn't really know how to do that. So TL was really helpful and like steering me in the right direction, giving me lots of positive things to do, but also giving me the space to like find my own crowd and find my own hobbies that were all positive. Like I've had like 4 jobs at TL. I go down to Imbalance Ranch a lot to work and help out, especially like with the horses and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm 20 months sober, and a lot happier than where I was. And looking back and seeing like where all my friends are at now, I'm very grateful that like I went through what I went through.